It's the Michelle Hughes Show. We keep it real. We talk about singles, sex, men and women issues. Come join the conversation on the Michelle Hughes Show. Are you satisfied, happy, or miserable? Are you looking for love in all the wrong places? Well, tune in daily and join our controversial topics. She is the queen of relationships on the Michelle Hughes Show. She keeps it real. Don't miss a show with Michelle Hughes.
All right. I want to thank you all for hanging in there with me. We had some technical difficulties, but we're just going to give us a little cheer. That's right. Woo-hoo! I've learned persistence is the key to life. You can't give up. When you feel like life is just kicking you in the rear end, kick it back. No. But I'm so happy you hung in there with me. But today we are talking about what mask are you wearing? Now, we sometimes understand that you're listening to the Michelle Hughes Show, and yes, I am Michelle Hughes. But as I was saying is that, we disguise our pain by wearing masks that no one else can see behind the little faces that we wear. We all wear faces, and sometimes they're disguised through many reasons why we wear our mask. But we want people to think, because many times we want people to think we are fine, but in actuality, we are about to burst open from feeling torn, confused about life. It is only when we open up and realize we have some unspoken issues that needs to be resolved. This is the first step to moving in the right direction to receive your healing. Now, I know some of you are out there thinking, I'm not wearing no mask. Well, just keep hanging in there listening, because you may discover maybe she's talking about me. Maybe Michelle has hit on something, because I think she might be directing this conversation directly to me. But what we discovered is that healing is there, but you have to realize you need to be healed. See? And that's the only way we can begin to understand that the mask that we're wearing, many times we wear so many different masks. Mask of deception. Mask, I'm okay when I'm not okay. Mask, I love you, but really inside I don't even like you. So we wear these masks to disguise who we really are. And so hopefully you'll get something from this conversation, and it will help you to tap into what you need to do to truly discover the real person that's trying to get out. So let's look at 7 areas we wear masks, or trying to deceive or disguise our true selves. Number 1 is, do you need healing after entering an unstable relationship? Sometimes we enter relationships that we should have never entered into, but we don't know how to get out of it. Sometimes we invest money and time, and so it's hard to go backwards when you think you've invested so much into an individual. So you wear a mask. Oh, everything's okay. Oh yeah, I love her. Oh yeah, I love him. And inside of you, you're screaming out like, oh, I'm about to die on the inside. I just don't know how to get out of this trap that I've gotten myself into. And I'm talking to you singles, but it could apply to married people also. Now listen, number 2 is getting out of debt. How many act like, oh, I live on a hill, I live in a nice home, I drive a nice car, but you're over your head in debt. and you're screaming like, oh my God, how did I get myself into this? You got yourself into this by saying, well, I'm not going to my grave um, with all my money. I'm going to spend it. And so you spend it to a point of thought. And so you wear this mask that, oh, I've arrived, when in actuality, you're over your head in debt. 3 is getting pregnant and not married. So many of us, we fall in love with the emotions of love, or with the hype of love, or with the appearance of love, but really it's nothing but sex. That's right, good sex. I mean, there are many of you have found partners and you just have good sex with them. And you enjoy it, but you really don't love the person. You just enjoy the act of making love to that person. I don't even want to call it making love. I say, you are having intercourse with someone who you really don't want to marry. You just enjoy the sexual relationship with them. And so sometimes it's hard to veer away from something that feels so good but is treating you so badly. Far as emotionally, you're not really getting much from the relationship except for when you're under the covers. And so with women, we tend to need a little bit more than sex. That's why when we get married to you, that's the first thing that goes, is the sex. Because now we got you, and so the thing that maybe hooked you in was the sex, but now the very thing that you thought you enjoyed the most, that's the thing that she's going to stop giving to you for many reasons. Sometimes we do it out of, you're not treating me well, or you didn't buy me that coat, or you didn't say hello in the right way. I mean, there are many reasons why women do what they do, and why men do what they do also. And so you men do things to get the sex. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you may berate the person to get sex. Well, look how much I'm doing for you. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have this, or you wouldn't have that. So come on now, you give me that sex. All right. And so you end up pregnant sometimes, and you're trying to figure out, how did I get myself into this? I'm pregnant now, and there's no ands or ifs or ands about pregnancy. That baby's got to come out, okay? Some people are aborting their babies, and you're aborting the baby, and you're trying to figure out, I don't believe in that, especially if you're a Christian. You shouldn't be aborting your baby. And so that's why you're wearing a mask. You're wearing a mask. Everything's okay, but in actuality, you're not okay, because you're pregnant, but you're not in love, or you don't think the person's in love with you, or you're pregnant and you know that as soon as you have the baby, you're going to end the relationship, or you may end the relationship while you're pregnant. So you're wearing a mask, and the mask is, okay, I'll love my baby, but I hate the father. And it goes on and on. And I'm trying to really present some pictures of different ways that in life we wear a mask. And you can paint some pictures for yourself. And maybe you'll begin to see, maybe I'm wearing a mask too, because I'm going to a job I'm not happy with, but I can't quit because I got to pay the bills. But you don't start planning. And so the thing is, God, if we allow God to help us through our mask, through the many deceptions, the faces that we wear each and every day, but we don't want no one to know that we're wearing this face. You're married and you're miserable, but you don't want anyone to know that I'm not happy with my wife, or I'm not happy with my husband, because I want everyone to think that, oh, we're bliss, but behind closed doors, you're talking to each other like animals. So what I'm saying is that if you don't come to grips with, what am I going to do? It's time for me to get some resolve and get some answers and understand that life does not have to go on like this. And so, no, it doesn't. When you begin to challenge yourself to make some decisions with your life, God will give you the right decisions to make. Number 4 is shacking with an abuser. We live with men and women, and they're abusing us in many ways. They're abusing you maybe because you need the finance. They're abusing you because, whatever that abuse may be to you. Some's physical, some is sexual, some is financial. And so the list can go on. You put the list there. I'm just trying to open up your conscious level to see that maybe I'm in a bubble and don't realize I'm really in a mask. I'm living behind this facade, and it's not true. And we all have done that. We all have lived a life that we are guilty of ourselves, of doing, that we brought on ourselves. And number 5 is fearing the unknown. How many of us, we think to ourselves, I'm not going to, veer off because, I don't like what I'm doing or how I'm living. And I'm telling you, I've been guilty of shutting down, and because I didn't want to make a lifetime commitment to marry. And I can remember one gentleman that I dated. You know, I basically, found myself quitting him, and not realizing that I was doing it until he confronted me. And so you have to realize that when you are wearing this mask, and sometimes when I can remember, as I said before, I remember he called me out, this one guy who wanted to marry me. He called me out by telling me that every time I ask you to marry me, you mysteriously find a way to break up with me. Or one gentleman, we started marriage counseling, and I found a way to unknowingly question him by saying to him, "Do you think we should be getting married?" I mean, he became so frustrated with me. And yes, I got out of that hot seat. My masking was what? Fearing the unknown, fearing marriage, fearing not knowing if down the road, if I meet somebody else who's more attractive or who had more to offer me, or whatever the case may be. We all have masks that we wear, and you can name it whatever you want to name it, but the main thing is that if you are in a situation where you keep shutting down because you don't want to make a lifetime commitment, that's masking the true reason why you are where you are. Now, yes, I'm no longer masking this today because I'm finally ready to commit. However, how many of you are there where I was and masking, wanting to commit, and fearing basically the unknown? See, my fear was what happens if you get stuck in your marriage and you see a better catch or a person you are more attracted to. See, I have learned the answer through time by having, or I should say by being married to Jesus and giving my life to him for over 36 years. I learned how to settle my life in him through his word. And this is the key to taking off the mask. Stop masking by totally coming free through releasing your cares, concerns, and fears and doubts to him. The Bible says what? He who the Son sets free is what? Free indeed. So these are things that you have to do. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to go back to that was the fearing the unknown, and 6 is not able to commit. And so that's under the same category basically that I just described. It's fearing the unknown, fearing commitment to whatever. Some people can't hold a job. They fear whatever. Maybe they're going to get fired, so they sabotage the job employment by doing something ridiculous and get fired. So there are many reasons how we mask the real thing that's going on inside of us. And until you can really understand, it's not life, it's not your mother, it's not your sister, it's not your father, it's you. You have to tap into those areas that you're feeling like, oh my God, it's like I've been like this all my life. What should I do? Well, I would say what you should do is understand that you're not by yourself, first of all. As many of us like that. As I just told you, my fear of commitment and the unknown. And so, we have little things that creep up in us through life. And if we don't give those things over to God, we'll find ourselves year in and year out staying in the same areas. And you want to get out. You want to feel like, I want freedom this year. I want to feel free. As I said, he who the Son sets free is free indeed. And that freedom comes to knowing that you have a relationship with God. And God sent his only begotten Son to the cross so that we may have that freedom, so that we can come to him in a time of need, so we don't have to wear all these masks and, just being something that we don't even want to be. You're not even choosing to be this person, but it's coming because you're not working in the right direction, and that is the area of release. And you have to get to that point where you want to be released from every situation that's holding you captive to that bondage of wanting to be something that you're not, looking at other people and resenting them and envying them. That's what envy is all about, is making yourself angry because you're not that person. And you'll never get out that mask that you're wearing until you realize, I'm going to be content with me. I'm going to learn how to love the me that God has created me to be on the inside. Number 7, the very last one, is compulsive liar. And these are people who will lie about anything. They'll lie just to make you feel that they're something that they're not. I went to Rome last year, and you're trying to find the pictures. Well, can I see some pictures or something like that? But they have no proof. But they just want to impress you with the person that they really want to be, but they don't strive to work at becoming who God has called them to become. Or they just lie about anything. They may lie against someone. There are people who just lie just to keep themselves looking good. That's what they think. So they'll lie on you to make themselves look big. Yeah, you know what she did, girl. She did that. She did this. She did whatever. Just whatever. Just to make conversation, or in actuality, they're really making themselves smaller than they would ever think. See, these are just some areas that we can mask who we truly are by projecting another image which doesn't tell the true story to who you really are on the inside. And I believe that when we begin to understand, you have to want change to take place in your life. And so how do you do that? You have to begin to change your lifestyle. This can only take place when what? You look into the mirror and realize it's you who needs to stop trying to be someone else or not accepting your imperfections. Take off the mask and set yourself free by allowing God to make you into the wonderful vessel that He created you into. See, as I told you about my fears, what happens if you get stuck in your marriage, and what happens if a better catch comes along? See, I have learned the answer through time by being married to Jesus and giving my life to Him. I learned how to settle my life in Him through His holy word. And this is the key to taking off the mask. Stop masking by totally coming free through releasing. Let go and release all the cares and concerns and fears and doubts to Him. You have to want change to take place in your life. And this can only take place when what? You realize that you are the person that needs to change. So what I would say to you, let go, my son or my daughter. Take off the mask and let God reveal who you are through Him in 2015. No more masks. but only freedom through God. And I believe this is the only way that you are going to have the freedom and the joy and the peace that you are asking for, is by what? Letting go. Take off the mask. Become that free individual that God has called you to become in 2015. This is your time. This is your year. Claim it. Believe it. No more masks. Take it off. Become who you are. Let God reveal to you through His Spirit the person that He has called you to become. And then relax in it. And I don't care who else is doing better than you, maybe doing jumping hoops or doing this, doing that. Take your eyes off those people. Have tunnel vision. Concentrate only on what God has called you to become and who you are. Enjoy yourself, and then you'll find yourself not being jealous of other people's greatness and all their great exploits that they're doing in the earth. No, you can really applaud them. Yes, you can. You can cheer them on. You can clap them into. Yes, you'll begin to be able to be happy for people because you know that God has a destiny for you. And the only way you can achieve that destiny is to begin to take off that mask. Well, you know what we do here. What do? We keep it real.
Thanks for tuning in to the Michelle Hughes Show. Join us daily for more hot topics with the Queen of Relationships. Always keeping it real. See you tomorrow on the Michelle Hughes Show.